Okay, so it's 3:05, I think, for the sake of time and out of respect for those of you who got here early or on time. Let's get this party started. So my name is Victoria Downs. I am one of the program managers for Small Business Strong. We are your hosts for this afternoon's event. And I'm really excited to share this space with you because we are going to be talking to Diego Portillo and his team from the Initiative for Competitive Inner City. And they're going to be sharing with us information about their amazing program Cohort that's starting soon. That might be an amazing opportunity for you small business owners to think about and consider applying to. If you're not familiar with Small Business Strong, I'll just give you a quick introduction and then I'll pass it on to Diego and his team. Small Business Strong is a nonprofit program that provides business advising and implementation support to minority-owned and women-owned businesses in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our work is centered around helping businesses navigate the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also thinking about how they're not just surviving the pandemic, but how they're going to thrive beyond the pandemic. So if you have a small business or know somebody that has a small business in Massachusetts, I put the link to request to speak to an advisor in the chat. I'll put it again just to bump it up. Feel free to fill out a form and somebody on our team will get back to you. So now I'm going to pass the mic to Diego Portillo, but before I do so, while he's presenting and going along the presentation, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Maria and I, who's on Diego's team, will triage those questions and try to get them answered for you. And we'll also make sure that we save space at the end of the presentation and get all of your questions or concerns addressed. All right. Okay, so Diego, the show is yours.
Thanks, Victoria. And thank you everyone for joining us today. So the Initiative for a Competitive Inner City is a nonprofit based in Boston, originally founded here in Boston and still based in Boston, that was created as a research organization. And about 15 years ago, we started saying it's not just about thought leadership, but also about practice leadership and actually providing the support for small business owners in under-resourced communities in all kinds of ways. We do run a number of different programs in the Boston area. The one I'm here to talk to you about today is the Inner City Capital Connections Program, or ICCC for short. ICCC is basically a 40-hour mini MBA for small business owners in under-resourced communities. Maria, we'll jump ahead if you don't mind. Before we even get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to all the partner organizations that we work with in the Boston area. We are obviously funded by a number of organizations, and when you see the slides, you'll see 2 pages worth of sponsor slides, and then the partners that help us do this work. From the City of Boston, LISC, Small Business Strong, BECMA, SCORE, Greater Grove Hall Main Streets, El Mundo Boston, Lawyers for Civil Rights, and so many more that have worked, collaborated, and even nominated and helped and gotten the word to some of you that this is an opportunity that may fit in your entrepreneurial journey. The program itself is organized around 4 core pillars, and it is a mix of synchronous and asynchronous elements. We'll run an opening seminar a little later in the month. It is still virtual, so 2 where we bring in professors from across the country to teach strategy, marketing, entrepreneurial finance, talent management. We'll do a resource panel of capital providers of different types. And
it looks like Diego froze there for a second.
Small business.
Oh, Diego, you're back. You froze there a second.
Sorry, where did you miss me?
You're talking about the resource panel at the opening seminar with the technical advisors.
All right, and I think I mentioned that you are likely to see Victoria sitting in that panel talking about some of the resources, but other organizations that also provide technical assistance, support, capital of different types, and give you that exposure, and of course, a lot of networking and peer learning. We follow this up with connections to coaching through a number of different organizations, and both general coaching and the capital coaching, because that remains at the heart of our programming and our connections, and knowing that small business owners often cite that as the biggest obstacle to their growth. That means you'll put together a pitch deck or pull together your documents and get a chance to sit in front of a banker or an equity provider and get some true feedback on what may be going wrong with your pitch deck. We also engage in a digital learning platform. So, and this is the part that's a little bit more choose your own adventure. There's, again, lots of information and exercises, actionable exercises in talent management and strategy and entrepreneurial finance. So depending on your needs, you'll pick the series of elements that you'll choose to engage with. Maria, who's on the call, runs our webinars program, and she'll run somewhere between 12.5 to 24 webinars just this year on a huge variety of topics. And we ask that you pick the 6 that are most suited to you. These are live and recorded. So if you can't join live, you can always watch them later in the morning, on a bus, on a train. Please don't do it while you're driving, but otherwise there could be great opportunities for some key knowledge. And many of these are run by some of our alumni. So business owners just like you who have expertise in certain areas, so they can connect truly to the small business owner experience and know what they're talking about. And finally, this is a national program. So we'll run this program in 20 cities across the US and 2 more cohorts in Canada. We'll do a cohort this year entirely in Spanish. So some 1,200 business owners will come together at the annual conference in virtual form in the first week of December to continue their education, their networking, the opportunities to connect with some of our sponsors in a sponsor showcase, and look for corporate procurement and other DI supplier opportunities. That's the program overall. We hope that out of this program, you would take business strategies, capital solutions, a community, and some coaching. Maria will jump past this one since I mentioned the 22 cohorts that will be running this year. This will give you an idea of where we are. All but 2 of these are virtual. So if you have connections in some of these cities and you want another business owner to participate, please encourage them to do so. Just to give you an idea of the work that we do so far, in the 15 years of the program, we have served almost 5,000 businesses. The number looks bigger if we count the number of businesses that have participated more than once, but this is the number of businesses. Those businesses have created over 23,000 jobs that we can actually document, and they've raised $2.3 billion of revenue, and they've grown at an accelerated speed. These businesses are well established. The average age of the businesses in the program is over 10 years. In the last couple of years, that average revenue has gone down a little bit, but as you can see, they are largely BIPOC owned, more than half of the businesses, and actually in the last 2 years, almost 2/3 of the businesses are owned by women. And they may employ 4 or 5 people, in some cases fewer, but and then depending on the industry, they may have lots of payroll or be solopreneurs. So we do have a full spectrum of experiences. These businesses are in all kinds of industries. We see a lot of construction, a lot of restaurants, a lot of daycares, food-related businesses, education, as I mentioned, healthcare, and products and retail, and a lot of consulting businesses. Maria, we'll jump ahead if you. Just in Massachusetts, you can see here that we've trained over 650 businesses, and these businesses have created over 2,000 jobs. And these are numbers post-pandemic, so they were slightly higher prior to the pandemic. We saw a little bit of job loss in the first year of the pandemic. We'll move ahead, Maria, if please. Just wanted to give you an idea of the criteria. I think we talked about the businesses that we're hoping to see in the program are independently owned. They're headquartered or do most of their work in an economically distressed area, whether that be low and moderate income zones, opportunity zones, or a number of other criteria. So feel free to connect with Maria and ask them about your particular business. They will have had revenue for at least 3 years. And it says here a minimum of $150,000, but again, please connect with us because we know that this varies significantly from industry to industry, and that $150,000 in a beauty and business is very different from a $150,000 revenue in a construction business, or that geographically what it takes to be a profitable business in Boston is very different than what it is in Fall River. So please do connect with Maria and talk to her about your needs. What is important, however, is that what our program focuses on is on helping well-established businesses. And there are a number of great programs in the area that work at the startup stage of your business. Maria, we'll go on from here. I mentioned a little bit about last year's profile where you can see that the revenues were certainly a lot lower and that there was a emphasis on BIPOC and women-owned businesses. So those numbers have also increased considerably. We'll go from here. Maria, we're skipping this one. What I want to mention here again is that the opening seminar for Eastern Massachusetts or Boston is June 27th and 29th. So coming up in a couple of weeks. You'll see from this timeline that our official application deadline has already passed, but we've extended it particularly for this group. So please go ahead and apply before next week Friday so we can connect with you, get you ready to start on June 27th and 29th. We are also running another cohort in August. We'll do another info session for that one. So if June 27th and 29th do not work for you, please consider the ones in August as well. These two are identical sort of in content, so and you do not need to do both. Maria will go. Again, I want you to save the dates. June 27th and Wednesday, June 29th. These are usually in the afternoon, so they'll run from 1 to 5 on both those days. Or if a Tuesday, Thursday works better for you, Tuesday, August 9th and Thursday, August 11th. Again, and these will take place via Zoom. So you can continue to work and continue to be in your space, at least for this year. Next year, we're likely to be back in person. The next big step, of course, is go ahead and apply. The application link is apply.iccapitalconnections.org, or Maria just dropped the direct link in the chat box for those of you who are here. Schedule a short interview with Maria to talk about your goals and your needs. That normally takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and then prepare to attend the opening seminar on the dates that we talked about. And with that, I think I'll open it up for questions. Victoria, any questions? Oh, I see one question that came in on the private channel here. Yes, this entire program is free of charge to the business owners. There is no cost. Well, I shouldn't say that. Next year, I will send you a survey asking you how you've done since the program, and the cost of participation is take the 10 minutes to answer the survey. Victoria, any other questions you've seen or have?
So I don't see any other questions in the chat, but I have a couple for you. And forgive me if you went through this already, but is there a maximum number of individuals or businesses that will be accepted per cohort?
Sure. So we keep the cohorts between 50 and 75 businesses. So that will be the cap this year. Want to make sure that these are true educational sessions, that people can really get that opportunity to connect with each other and with the professors, but we don't open them much wider beyond that. Maria, do you want to pull down the slides and we can see everybody who's here?
And I just had one other question around for somebody who's listening and may not be, you know, you went through the criteria, but they're not 100% sure on if this is for them. Should they email you? Should they fill out the form? And what's the best approach for folks to get clarification on whether they qualify or not?
I think either filling out the application or connecting with Maria. Maria, if you want to drop your Calendly link again in the chat box, or email Maria at mtata@icic.org, and she can talk to you about your specific situation, your business, and whether we are the best program for you, or if there are other partners in the Boston area that may have a better suited program at this particular time. Most of those conversations are, is there a program that's better suited at your stage of business because you're just starting your business or still in ideation stage versus at the established and growth stage. So we're trying to get to yes and trying to get you the support that you need, not trying to disqualify people.
Were there any other questions from the folks in the room? What do folks think about this? Or do you think your business would qualify? Or is this something that you think would help you grow your business? Feel free to unmic. What are you thinking so far? See some folks deep in thought.
So Tony, I'm going to call you out. What exactly do you guys do? What kind of consulting?
My background is really in business. For the past 20 years, I've been president and CEO of 2 different corporations in both here in the state of Massachusetts and most recently in Florida. I retired and I work in workforce development here in Western Mass. That's why I'm very interested in the small business strong, as well as what you do. As a matter of fact, I also am an instructor or a professor at AIC in their MBA program. I run the business strategy courses, I run the capstone courses, as well as the operation. So, you know, I have probably 30 kids, bad word, students who are in my class right now who are finishing up their MBA program in the business strategy, as well as the capstone, who will graduate in August or so. And I'm always looking for opportunities for, you know, for people.
Wonderful.
I'm part of, you know, a lot of different things here in Western Mass, and that's really the reason or the impetus that I'm trying to find out, because obviously what you're talking about is a lot is on the Boston side. And when it
No,
comes
we do run a program in Western
Yeah,
Mass, as I
but
mentioned.
we don't see much of it, unfortunately, from my venue. You know, Worcester seems to be the demarcation line for a lot of the help and the resources, and we're always pulling on our side. So that's the impetus and why I'm here, to find out more. I'm excited about the program, excited to learn more. But like I said, for me personally, it's more from a standpoint of, you know, the people that I'd be working with. A lot of it is inner city. Again, in the city of Springfield, the students in my class are the urban population. You know, people who are working, putting their nose to the grindstone, and an MBA for them is, it costs them a lot of money. And hopefully after the process, you know, the biggest thing, the turning point in any business from an entrepreneurial standpoint is capital. Can you get capital? And I pound it in their heads. No matter how great an idea you have, if you don't have the money to put it in force, it's not going to work. So that's why I'm always looking for programs like this.
Wonderful. And let's stay in touch, Tony.
All right.
Megan, I saw you come off mute for a moment.
Are you speaking with me?
Yes,
Oh,
I saw you come
hi.
off mute.
Well, that could have been accidental. I am just learning about this as of yesterday. I just got an email yesterday to join this meeting, just to see what the program's all about and what we can offer to our small businesses here in Fall River, Massachusetts. So I work with Viva and the TDI partnership. Viva
Sorry, Megan, you put yourself back on mute.
Sorry, that's what happens when you use a phone on Zoom. Apologize. So I work with Viva Fall River, and I specifically work with small businesses for development and growth. And so there's kind of a couple of reasons why it sounds like, with maybe some more information, I would love to be a part of this type of cohort program for my own purposes, and then the double fold being for everyone else too. And so that I can enroll people into doing the program if it seems like a good fit for them going into the future. So I just emailed Maria in
Wonderful.
hopes that we can have a conversation about eligibility, and yeah, just take it from there. Sounds
Wonderful.
awesome.
So we'll look forward to seeing you in Boston, and then hopefully connecting with you about getting some of those small businesses connected to the Western Mass cohort in August, once you've seen the program in action.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'd love to learn more. Thank you.
Want to open it up to any other questions and be respectful of everybody's time. So any other questions? Maria is not feeling particularly well today, so I did not ask her to be on camera, but please do connect with her as you need, and I'll pass it back to you, Victoria.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. You know, we'll be sending out a replay of this workshop. So feel free to share if you have businesses in mind that you think might benefit from this. Tony, if you want to plant the seed for your students in Western Mass, so that when the Western Mass cohort does come up, you can kind of introduce them to the program and get them tapped into the network. So we'll send out a replay of this and also send out some information about the program. Of course, send out Diego and Maria's information so you can connect with them directly and ask any further questions or points of clarification that you might need. And as always, if you have a small business and you need free business advising and implementation support, Small Business Strong does offer that. The link is in the chat there to apply to a request to speak with the small business advisor. And my email is also in there. So please feel free to reach out. Thank you to Diego and his team for coming on and talking to us about this wonderful program. And I hope, we hear of some of you in the program. I hope I see you on the panel. I think it's on the 29th. Yeah, so I hope I see you there, and I hope, some of you take advantage of this amazing opportunity. But we'll go ahead and give us all some time back if there are no other questions, and wrap this up. But please feel free to connect with the team if there are any questions that we can answer for you. All right.
Thank you, Victoria, and thank you all for joining us today.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.